Before you go ahead and do the millionaire on the electoral college, I want to cover one thing to be clear, and I just want to do it through talking about the pros and cons of the electoral college because this is a debated issue, and it could be even more debated if Donald Trump would win a second election with the electoral college. Yet he loses the popular vote. So if that happens again, that could be even a bigger issue. So let me go through it really quick. So this is the arguments of the people who want to reform it and get rid of it. One, they would argue that it's undemocratic. Like look at the election from 2016. Hillary Clinton won 65.8 million votes. Donald Trump won 62.9 million. So this is undemocratic. Like the people wanted Hillary and they ended up with Donald Trump. So like this should go. Two, modern information. Like one of the reasons that the founders initially said that you couldn't have a national election is because people didn't have access to, national issues to be able to inform themselves on candidates from different parts of the country. So it was rather impossible to run a national election and have people travel from state to state. Like you couldn't do that then, but now we can. Now we get information at our fingertips literally. And so now the worry of the founders of a national campaign is not a consideration. Three, the idea is that in the electoral college now, not necessarily everyone's vote counts. For example, if you live in California, like California is going to vote for the Democrat because it is such a partisan state. So therefore, like a lot of probably Republican people like don't even bother voting because like why my vote doesn't count. If you live in a very, very Republican state, like let's say Wyoming, like you're the other way. You're like, well, I know Wyoming's going to go Republican. So what's really the sense of voting? So this will make sure by having a national vote, everyone's vote counts because everybody's vote goes into the pot. And then lastly, the criticism of the elections, the electoral college, is that swing states are too powerful. See, there is an incentive in the electoral college that if a state is really partisan, like California, even though it's big and has a lot of votes, or New York, state like that, there's no sense of going there. Like Trump's not going to go there, the Democrats not going to go there because they know the results already. We know how California's going to vote. So therefore, what everybody focuses on are what we call swing states. Swing states are close states that could go either way. So Florida has been historic swing state. On this map right here in 2016, Virginia was still considered a swing state. Indeed, Hillary Clinton won it by 3%. North Carolina, Ohio, Indiana, Iowa, some of these states didn't end up being that close, and that the swing states ended up being Pennsylvania, Michigan, in Wisconsin. And no one spent, well, I should say, Hillary Clinton didn't spend much time in those states, or at least not in Michigan and Wisconsin, and she should have. So sometimes we wrongly identify swing states. And so the point is here is that all the attention of the election goes to like 6 to 10 states, and all the other states get ignored. And so the people who want to get rid of the electoral college said this is wrong. All this focus on swing states is bad. So another reason to get rid of it. Okay, cool. Let's continue. Um, if you look at this map here, this shows the spending by state in 2004. And you can notice the swing states have changed a little bit, but a lot of them stay the same. And you can notice that most states, no money was spent in the election. And then at the same time, like some states had just tons of money. Look at Pennsylvania and Ohio, and I'm covering up Florida. But let me just move myself here. There's Florida. And you can see how Florida was massively spent on. So these swing states get all the money. No one else spends a nickel. Okay, on the other side, the electoral college people say, hey, we should keep it. Swing states are good. We want swing states. Swing states moderate the election. See, instead of appealing to, very extreme views in California or Wyoming or South Carolina or Tennessee, instead, we're appealing to middle America, to more moderate people. So this is good because it keeps our politics from becoming too extreme. If we had to run an election that was just based on popular vote, then everyone would be trying to run up the score in partisan states in order to win the most votes possible. And they would ignore the swing states. Like literally the middle states would be ignored because, well, you're not going to win Florida by much, so it doesn't get you much. But if you could run up the score in Alabama, if you're a Republican, then that would be more likely and you could win more votes. So this moderates the election. It's actually better for our politics to have the electoral system. Secondly, if we have a popular vote and we just get rid of the electoral college, large states completely dominate the small states. Like small states are just irrelevant. Like no one is ever going to visit a small state. But if you look, if a small state is a swing state, like look at Maine and Vermont. I mean, I'm sorry, Maine and New Hampshire are more moderate states, so they actually got a lot of people to visit them. Iowa has had a lot of attention over the years. It's not very big, but because it's a swing state, it gets a lot of attention. And small states just completely get ignored in the if we got rid of the electoral college. So this would be bad. Um, this is the flip opposite of the other argument from the other side is without an election, without this electoral college in swing states, the election will play to the extremes. It'll now become unimportant to appeal to a state that is more moderate and that could go either way. And instead, you will actually try to run up the score in big partisan states. So you're going to try to run up the score in states that are mid-sized and large, and you will try to just run it up as high as you can because that all those votes are going to go into the pot nationally. And then lastly, getting rid of the electoral college. Oh, sorry, getting keeping the electoral college forces candidates to campaign in both rural and urban areas. So if we got rid of the electoral college, then candidates would just focus on where the votes are in the major states, in big cities. They would just a few cities, and that would be the main thing. But instead, by having the electoral college, now you have to focus on some more rural areas, more suburban areas, and those people get their voices heard as well. So that's the different sides of the electoral college. And the big thing I want you to remember is that swing states are the big impact, and that's where everybody goes in electoral because of the electoral college. States that are close get all the attention. All right, thanks.